The Surya Siddhanta defines something called the Day of the Gods. What is this Day of the Gods? Let's take a look in stellarium. So you are looking at the very familiar Khagola, which is the celestial sphere. And by now you know that this is nothing but the entire space, the sky, which surrounds Bhugola, the terrestrial sphere. This is the sky which is above our heads, and all the stars and the planets, all the grahas are in the celestial sphere. Now, we have already seen Uttarayana in a earlier video, and now I'm going to show you once again the movement of the sun, but from a different starting point. We will look at the movement of the sun starting from the position where the sun is on the celestial equator. This is the midpoint of Uttarayana. I will also turn on the date for your quick reference. So now I'm going to show you the sun moving northwards along the ecliptic, and observe that during this movement, during this entire period, the sun will be north of the celestial equator. In other words, the sun will be in the northern half of the celestial sphere. Take a look. So this period when the sun is in the northern half of the celestial sphere is known as Day of the Gods, because the idea is that the devas who are positioned in Devaloka are able to see the sun during this entire period. Now Dakshinayana has started, but sun is still to the north of the celestial equator, and it's visible to the devas. That's the theory here. Now the sun is going to cross over south of the celestial equator. Right? Now the idea is, and we are in September 23rd, now the idea is that the devas are no longer able to see the sun because of the curvature of the celestial sphere, and it's gone south of the celestial equator. Devas can no longer see it. It's on the southern half of the celestial sphere. Now Uttarayana has started, but the sun is still to the south of the celestial equator. So it is still night of the gods. So this is another 6 months, and we will come back to March 20th of the next year. This is known as a tropical solar year. So this is the idea of the Day of the Gods and Night of the Gods. Now I told you that the devas cannot see the sun when it's south of in the southern half of the celestial sphere. They can see it when it's in the northern half of the celestial sphere. I'm going to show that to you more explicitly by repeating this simulation once again, but with a twist. And this is the twist. I'm going to show you a top view of the celestial sphere, so you get to see this as if you are looking at this from Devaloka. This is what the devas will see. And you can already imagine here, so this is the ecliptic, and only half of it is visible, and beyond this it's going to cross over and go to the south, and it's no longer visible from Devaloka. This is the portion where the ecliptic is north of the celestial equator. So there you go. Now the sun is moving. I'm repeating the simulation, but now it's obvious why this is Day of the Gods, because there is the sun. During this entire period of 6 months, the sun is visible from Devaloka. And that's why it's called Day of the Gods. As simple as that. In fact, the same phenomena can be seen on Bhugola also if you go to the North Pole. But now the sun is approaching this point, it's going to cross over and disappear. So now the devas in Devaloka can no longer see the sun, so this is the night of the gods. And the next 6 months they cannot see the sun, so this next 6 months is night of the gods. Until you come back to March 20th, and then the sun will make its reappearance at this point, and the next Day of the Gods is going to start. So I'm waiting for March 20th. There you go. The sun came back, and the next day of the god starts, and the cycle repeats and repeats and repeats. 6 months, day of the gods, 6 months, night of the gods. If you go to the North Pole on Bhugola, you will see exactly the same phenomena. There will be 6 months of daytime and 6 months of nighttime. And that is what has been so nicely built into Hindu cosmology. So this is where astronomy seamlessly moves over into cosmology in the Hindu calendar. Now, I'm going to get rid of the date and let me remove all these labels. I will close by showing you a shloka that you have already seen before. I have shown this shloka to you once before. Look at the first line of this shloka. The Devas and the Asuras behold the sun after it is once risen for half a year. And that's exactly what I showed you just now. The Devas behold the sun after it is once risen for half a year. And the Asuras, you can imagine, will be corresponding if I show you the view from south celestial pole. But I showed you what the Devas see. And this shloka was written somewhere around 300, 400 AD, 1600 years back. They already have enough imagination to understand how sunlight would behave on the North Pole.